Hi, I'm Peter.
And I'm Katmia.
Welcome to the This and That Chat. I want to start today discussing the perils of the
Penelope
microphone.
Cruz. What?
Of the microphone.
Oh, God.
Okay, so listen, I set up and I tear down our little studio space every single time we record, so that the mics and stuff aren't just sitting out and, whatever. So I take it and I set it up and I put it exactly the way that it needs to be. And Katmia comes and in less than 10 seconds destroys it and then says, "This doesn't work right. It's not sitting the way it's supposed to." Well, no shish kebabs.
Ooh.
Sherlock.
Ooh.
That's what. There was another word I wanted to use.
No.
But we are a family show.
You were gonna use another word. Wow, I couldn't tell. You're so subtle.
So subtle. I don't know what to do with her.
What would you do with me if I was entirely normal?
I would die of boredom.
Correct. So say thank you.
Katmia is extra giggly today. I'm just letting you guys know.
God,
This has been the last 2 days where she has gone into these wheezing fits where she is a complete disaster.
I can't breathe. This is terrible.
No, listen. Okay, so
It's because I'm trying to restrain it. And when I try to restrain it, it's just like bubbles inside of me.
why restrain it? Restrain it.
What was that word you said?
Do you hear this? Could you imagine watching a movie and you're sitting?
Can you imagine?
Okay, hold on. Imagine being in the movie theater.
Imagine being in a meeting.
Imagine being in a movie theater and you're watching a movie and there's a funny part followed by something serious and you can't get out of the funny part.
That's horrible, right? And you're still laughing
And you're
about
still
it?
laughing about
That
it.
has never happened to me, actually. I don't think that I have ever watched... Have we ever watched a movie that we were, like, dying of laughter? I know we've laughed at movies, yes. But
I think we
dying
laugh
of
more
laughter?
at the situation.
But I think it's like a quick chuckle. No, like a ha 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 ha. You know? Kind of thing.
Ha 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 ha.
Kind of like that. You know?
Okay, so I've said my piece.
Okay.
I don't know what to do with her.
I'm sorry. Last week, we had talked about...
Beep, beep. That wasn't even. That was a. That wasn't one.
I thought you said your piece, so now I was going to say my piece.
I was in the middle of the words,
Please,
and you were like,
people who listen to this, vouch for me.
I was in
You
the.
said I said my piece.
I was in the middle of words.
Okay,
The
go.
words. No.
Finish your
I'm
words.
done now. Go ahead.
You know I will not beg you.
Oh, I know you're not.
So,
Go.
Too bad, so sad.
Go ahead.
Beep beep.
It's gonna be a long episode because we can't get any words in except for laughter.
Why are you laughing?
I'm laughing at you.
You're making me laugh. I know you're doing it on purpose.
Bring your mic down just a little bit.
Okay.
'Cause
I
it
am
looks like-
struggling.
Yeah. No.
You see,
Don't.
it's not my fault.
Because you're pulling the.
Okay, look. It's
That's
wonderful
better.
right now.
Okay, go.
Okay, so I was going to say that last week we said that this episode was going to be called Where We've Been and Where We're Going.
where we've been and
Where we've come from and where we're going?
something like that.
The past and the future? I don't know.
Where
But it just-
where we've been and where we're going.
Yeah, and it just feels like I don't know if we're going to talk about that this week.
No?
I don't know. So let's just
Well, we
talk.
should. So we should just. Well, the reason we had said that is because we were going to talk about.
Well, that's supposed to be last week's episode.
I know, but
Like
we were.
Happy New Year.
But we were like catching up stuff. But I think we need to say at least a little bit, at least a
Yeah,
quick,
I do want to touch on it
like
because
a
it's
quick little.
right. So I wonder, one of the things that we skipped out because we didn't do a Christmas or a pre-New Year episode, right? That we didn't get to talk about what people's, I wonder if people have traditions for the New Year besides your regulars, right? Which I feel a lot of people, it's like the New Year's resolutions. It's a big one, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this year's the year that I'm sticking to it, kind of thing, right? But I think people probably like to talk about what they're looking forward to in the year, what they think the year is going to be like. It's like not a laughing matter at all that so many people predicted 2020 to be the best year of their life, and we ended up with possibly the worst year in everybody's life.
Yep.
And
now, well, it's almost like 2021 didn't happen.
No, you mean 2020.
No, 2021.
You're talking about so much happened in 2021.
I know, but it was almost like an extension of 2020.
Kind of.
I didn't feel that there was a distinctive change.
We were in
from
lockdown in 2020.
Yeah, and 2021 didn't go that much better.
I'm saying we weren't locked down in 2021.
There was
like
part
Mike
of,
moved away.
Yeah,
like,
but there was
there's
part,
things that happened.
Yes, because life continues. But there was part of 2021. The beginning of 2021 we were still in lockdown. It was a lot less than what it was before. And yes, now it's really alleviated a lot of what it was at the beginning. But there's
we
still
should
a
clarify
lot of restrictions.
Here in Florida.
And we're here in Florida.
Correct. Because there's other places that I feel continue to be sort of locked down.
Yeah. So it's like, I had read somewhere where somebody had said that so there was 2020, right, where the whole lockdown thing started. Then 2021 was just an extension of 2020, and now we've got 2022.
Yeah, and
which
so
is like,
I feel like everyone's perspective
like
is
TOO too. 2020 TOO. So it's like
an extension of an extension.
Mm-hmm.
Correct. But I will disagree with them, okay? Because I do feel like people's perspective on what happens in every year is a personal thing, right? So if you have your very pessimistic people who just feel like nothing is the same, nothing will ever be the same, and everything is sadness, that's just how they're going to view the world, The hyper optimistic are going to think every year is going to be the best year, and that's just how they're going to view it. So for me, I did feel a shift in 2021. I feel like a lot of good things came out of 2021.
I agree.
Right? So, and then I feel like 2022 is really what I expected 2021 to be, which was going to be the pandemic of 2020, and now it's the new year and everything's going to change. But so I do have expectations for this year that are different than they were, I think, for 2021. And I'm not sure if any of them are going to happen the way I think about it, but...
Well, and we have things to look forward to this year that are they're gonna happen because the clock doesn't stop, right? We get to those...
Well, but when you say that, I think about the clock did stop in 2020.
Technically, it didn't because we continued to move.
But like if people were getting ready to move into universities, that got shut down.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
but
If you were attending school in person, you were sent home.
yes, but education continued.
Yeah, but in a very, like, graduations. Like, remember graduation in 2020 was pretty much canceled?
Yeah,
Okay,
but
so,
our daughter was able to have a graduation.
well, that was 2021.
Oh,
You see,
see
you
what I
see
mean?
how
It's
there's
like
a
all yeah.
difference? So I feel like there was sort of like, I don't know,
Was she 2021?
just in June right now.
I'm confused.
I know. I feel like you're sort of blending the two, and maybe and that's what I'm saying. 2022, to me, I feel like we're putting a year of space now between 2020 and now. There's, like you said, there's different things. Like, look, school is continuing, right, for me, but now it's going to be in person. There's things that I'm going to be doing that I didn't get to do last year when I was in school because a lot of those services were unavailable.
Right.
But yet, there are still some things that we can't do. So, for example, I have been waiting for 2 years already to go on a cruise.
Right.
And I feel like cruising is going to take a little bit longer to
Well,
come
they
back.
just canceled everything again.
So, and it's not just because of that. It's because I want to go back to cruising when no masks are necessary anymore. We're at a point where there is the threat of COVID is barely there.
Right.
And we don't know when that's going to be, because that could be
5 years
next
down the
year.
line.
It could be 5 years down the line. Exactly. So
That it's definitely changed the way we
Yes.
do things.
and the way we
Absolutely.
plan our year.
Absolutely.
Yes. So, but I feel like now that we have
But
a year,
but has it all been like let's look at it from from an optimistic side. Has it all been a bad thing? Because
no, I don't
yes,
think you can say.
there are situations in this that have not been favorable, but we've learned to do things differently. I think we got to a point where I don't know, even as far as what we do for vacations, what we do with our spare time,
Well-
how we eat, what we cook. Like we got I feel like in the last whatever time frame, year and a half or so, we've learned to cook fancy. And I don't say that in a using expensive meats and this kind of stuff. No, learning like different techniques, and
I'm sure a majority of the country also learned the same techniques because all you could do was watch television.
exactly. But that's what
Right?
I'm saying.
So then you watch cooking shows.
Yes, but we like we learned how to do some pretty cool stuff. Like I would have to say, and I don't know that it would have been any different, but like I learned how to smoke meat in the last year and a half at a different level than I did before that, and I was smoking meat then. But now it's like I'm gonna brag on my my smoked chicken, but like that smoked chicken is something out of this world. Like I used to always I hated chicken breast. I always felt it was so dry. It didn't have good flavor. Blah blah. All this whatever. And now I can sit and I will eat. I'll eat that whole chicken, leave it in bones because
And
it's so juicy
Day
all the way
2
through.
chicken breast, it's
And the
still moist.
second day is so
it's
delicious
still,
too.
It's still so tender. So yeah, no, I understand what you're saying, and I would think that you would be incorrect if you were to say everything about the year was bad, because I mean then you're not looking for the good in anything. Again, perspective, right? Because yes, I think that there are things that are negatively still affecting people, but there are good things that have come out of it too.
Yeah.
In whatever capacity that is. But one of the things I was going to say about vacation is, so 11 years ago, we made our debut trip to Georgia.
Yep.
Okay.
We surprised the kids on Christmas morning with a Georgia coin as
Well, we had
as
a
clue.
suitcase as well. We told them we were giving them clues.
Yeah. So it was a Georgia coin, a suitcase, and a sweater.
Yeah, I feel like there were other things. I think there was a map also.
Oh, there was a map. I remember the map.
I don't remember all the things, but it was like, oh, what is our trip? And we were leaving that same day. So to them, that was super, super exciting. Like we're leaving right now. Kind of crazy though, because kids like to play with what they got for Christmas that day.
And we had given them bikes.
Yeah, we did.
Like,
Yes.
leave your bikes. Let's go.
Yes. But anyway, so we made our trip to Georgia, and it was the very first time we went, and then ever since then we have opted for the quieter vacation. And I mean, we're doing our cruises every year, but
Right. It wasn't week-long vacations in Georgia. We would go. Georgia became a destination for us, like a place where
well,
we felt.
I mean, was it a week? I
Well,
think it was kind of a.
Remember,
kind of,
Mike was looking at going to school to SCAD.
Right.
So we were making some visits to Savannah, and we had made, there were other reasons that we were going to Georgia, and Georgia kind of became like our getaway, like our home away from home.
escape. Yes, our home away from home. I like that. But because you were in retail before, you had your different weeks of vacation. Right now, we have 1 week of vacation, and it's kind of like, okay, what are we doing with this 1 week? That's hard. It's hard to have 1 week in a whole year, and so you want to make the most of it, yeah.
Yeah.
And we have opted for the quieter vacation.
You sounded Canadian.
Don't they say A?
Yeah.
A? I said yeah.
I know, but the way that you said it,
Oh.
it sounded Canadian. I was
Okay.
like, hey. Sorry, go ahead.
Look who is squirrely
I'm
today.
squirrely. Goodness.
Okay. Anyway, so because of COVID, right? We didn't have to cancel our vacation
Right.
because we were able to still, because it was an Airbnb, we were still able to at least get away for a little bit, which was such a relief in the year that we had been through.
It was so nice to just. I mean, there was a couple days there where we never even got out of our pajamas. We went, we made breakfast, and we went and sat on the couch. We were watching a movie. We'd fall asleep, wake up, watch another movie, or finish the movie that we didn't watch the beginning, and we watched.
It's very relaxing.
It was
it's
just
very peaceful.
super, super relaxing.
And so we got to do that again this year. And we went to a new place, but very, very close to where we were last year in Georgia. Last year we got to see snow. This year we missed it by a day. But I'm kind of grateful, actually, because I heard that it was pretty
bad.
Severe.
There were people that were stuck on
the
expressways for.
And I wasn't really worried about
29 hours.
us. I was mostly worried about Mike.
Yep.
And everything.
with his
but
car.
but yeah, so it was such a much needed rest, I feel. It's so good to recharge without the hustle and bustle. Like we haven't gone back to Disney. We haven't gone back to any of the parks. In fact, the very first time that we have been out in like a large crowd setting again was when we went to the Georgia Aquarium again right now. And it was packed beyond capacity, I feel.
Yes.
I feel like and it's the Georgia Aquarium was a fantastic experience when we went 11 years ago, right?
And we went during the same time frame.
We went during the same time frame, and it did not feel at all like it felt right now.
No,
right now
there were people. There was probably.
You were like four rows deep.
Yeah,
being able to see a display.
Like 30 to 40% over capacity. Easy.
Which is surprising to me because I feel like they were trying to implement staggered entrances. You had to show up. You had to reserve your tickets. There was a limited number of tickets they were going to do.
The staggered entrances would only work for like the first two, maybe three groups, because because the first group, second group, they didn't have to leave.
Correct.
So
Oh,
once you
you're
get
right.
into those next later groups, if those people are still there, you're just compounding it.
I mean, so if anyone has been on a moving walkway, think about how many people you have to put on a moving walkway for it to stop.
It quit on us.
It quit while it's moving us because there's a part of the aquarium where you're completely surrounded by the aquarium and you're going through a tube. And so, in order, I guess, to keep people moving and flowing, they have this walkway. So you get on it, and then it's very, very, very slow, and it's just taking you, sort of immersing you
It's
into
just
the experience.
to continue movement.
People were everywhere. In fact, it was not an enjoyable experience this time around to go to the aquarium because
Nope.
it just felt so packed and you know,
Can we do a little sidestep real quick? Mm-hmm. So lunch comes around. I have to share it.
I mean, and I don't even know like what is the point of it except to recount our horror.
It's horror. Horror.
No, it's horror.
Horror.
Yeah.
Yes.
If anyone doesn't like horror, this is the time to log off.
Listen. We started to feel the hunger pains.
Well, it was lunchtime.
Yes. And you can't leave the aquarium and come back in.
Right.
So
Just as a side note, we had planned on having lunch outside of the aquarium
afterwards.
because we were
yeah.
only going to take a couple hours in there.
Right, but because it was so packed, everything was just that much slower for you to be able to
yes.
go through. You can do the aquarium in like 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
You know, and then our plan was to go and sit down at one of the restaurants that were right around to have lunch. Late lunch / early dinnerish kind of whatever. And we got stuck. We had to eat because everyone was already saying, "Hey, we got to put some food in this," and we still had more than half to go.
Can I just jump in real quick? Because I'm going to let you
Yes.
tell your story,
Go.
okay? But so, the part of the aquarium where we're in, we can see the seating area for the aquarium, which is one of the things that I really liked because it is a massive, there's no way that you will never find a table and a chair there. And they have a viewing of the beluga whales. So you can eat your lunch while you're doing that. But they have like this small little food cart there. And the choices are very, very limited. So we're thinking, dang, we're stuck with,
Hot dogs and nothing.
a burger and a Caesar salad wrap.
Yep,
Those were the
cold
the
Caesar
three.
salad wrap.
Those were the three choices, and they tell us, oh, guys, there are more choices downstairs. So we're thinking, oh, this is great. When we get downstairs, there's only one choice. It's just massive.
Yeah, it's just much bigger.
But there really is only one choice.
Right.
So, continue.
So we go in, we get our food, right? And they have this sign that's very deceiving that says 78 cents per ounce. And you're like, that's so cheap.
Yes.
That's so cheap. So, you get your plate and you go over to the food bar thing and you grab the stuff that you want. And then they weigh it at the register. And there were 5 of us.
Right, and 3 of us got.
Right, 3 of us got the food that you weigh, and then 2 had specific orders, and everything got rung up, and I just about passed out when I saw.
Well, when they placed the 3 things on the scale, and the total read $76.
Oh my God.
At that moment right there, I was so shocked because I just did the math right now, and at 78 cents, a pound of food would have cost you around $12, which is what you expect to pay there anyway. A pound of food I guess when you think about it, a pound of food sounds like a lot of
Yes,
food.
but there was ounces.
I did oh, right. And it's 16 ounces to a
Right.
pound. So I multiplied the 78 cents times 16, right? And it's around $12. But at $76, that means that every plate was over $25. Every plate had 2 pounds of food in it.
Yeah, I believe it.
I was horrified.
Well, we had, hold on, but we also had the bottles of water.
No, no, no,
The
no, no, no. He was
smaller.
just weighing the food.
No. I think you're.
Because I know Nikki had not put her stuff in yet.
Yeah, but Nikki's. Okay, so Nikki's food was like, it was a special that they had was $15.99 was the meal with a drink, and then she got an extra order of the
Nuggets
nuggets
or the tenders.
or the tenders, right? So let's say it was like about $20 with her, and then Mike it was about $15, a little bit
and
more.
poor Mikey literally
But
got.
that's what he wanted though.
I know. No. But what I'm saying is, it feels like when you go to a restaurant and your bill comes and it's $30, and you're like, but I literally had the side salad.
Mm-hmm.
How is that possible? He literally had the side salad.
Yeah.
But we have no choice because we're not done. We have to finish the aquarium.
Mm-hmm.
And our total's $109 for lunch.
Yeah.
That you're thinking, dang, we need to be eating good.
Yeah, for $109, we would have had some good food, but we ate aquarium food. It was literally buffet. It was like lunch lady buffet. I was waiting for the lady to come out to say, "Would you like some more sloppy
I mean, at least it
joes?"
wasn't bad.
No,
Look
it was
for the
it
silver
was,
lining.
Yeah,
At least it was
tasted okay.
flavored right and everything, but wow, how shocking.
Yes, I was not ready
Everything
for that.
has skyrocketed in prices, and we definitely got a little taste of that
Yeah.
while we were there. But besides that, I think everyone had a pretty nice day. Well, let me say that I feel like we reveled in the ability to be together, is what we walked away with there, because we were supposed to go ice skating after. But I feel like everybody was just so over the day of being pushed and shoved and trying to make your way to the front to see a display, and it's
And
just
people
like
running over your
people
toes. And,
everywhere. That it was just like, I think everyone wants to go home and we just want to relax by the fire and you
Yep.
know have a nice little
Yes.
right. But I think it was a good breath of fresh air. The views were lovely. We had a lake right next to the cabin that
And it
you
was
could just walk
foggy. So we had
almost
like
every day.
Yeah, we had like this beautiful fog. It wasn't like down to the street, but it was just high enough where there was a visibility of the lake and you could still see into the forest, but there was all this like fog and dew that was still coming down. It was perfect.
I took many pictures, and yet when I would look at them again at night, as beautiful as the pictures were, I just felt like nothing is like your own mind, which just goes to marvel at what our mind holds, right? And how important I feel it is for us to be very zealous over protecting what goes into our mind, because once it's there, it cannot be undone. And so on a good note, I feel like the memories that I have and the things that I saw will never compare to the pictures that I took. And it was so beautiful. We were literally at the bottom of a mountain. So when you would look around, you were surrounded by the Appalachian Mountains, and you're in this lake. There were little
Blue Ridge
docks.
Mountains.
What did I say?
Appalachian.
I'm sorry. I'm thinking about the trail that you
Yes.
can go in through there. Thank you for correcting me. But one thing that I got to do that I've always wanted to do is I've always wanted to sit at the end of a dock with my feet in the water. And I know I'm never going to be there in the summer That's not when you have your time off. So I was like,
So you,
cold or
so
not
so
cold?
you broke the ice and stuck your feet in the holes.
And I put my feet, it was so cold. It was so cold that my feet got so red.
There was no ice, just so
There
that you
was
know.
no ice. But it was so cold. And Nikki and I went out there and we did that. And I kept thinking, we are completely crazy. A, we could get sick. Okay. B, you can't see anything in that water. At any moment, any animal could just come up and grab our feet. I had visions of myself just being dragged underneath the water. It was so
Those
terrifying.
are visions that you have because of your love for disaster movies.
I think so as well. I think so as well. But for me, there was something that happened on the trip that I just cherish entirely. And it is that I feel like I got to spend time individually with our kids in a way that I'm not able to, especially like with Mike. He's moved out already for a year. It's been a year since he's been on his own. And so the times that we get to see him are, you know, I know he tries to do it as often as he can, and we do as well, but it really is just little spurts of moments throughout the years. And to be with them from breakfast and dinner and like the whole day. And so even with Nikki, with her working and school and me in school and all of this stuff, our time together has just really changed where
Well, and we had this discussion on, I believe it was the way up or on one of the first days that we were there, where we were with the realization that next winter break or next Christmas through the new year, we may not all be together because Mike will have graduated. We don't know where he's going to be job wise. We don't know where Nikki's going to be with
well, we know
school
Nikki will
stuff.
be in
Yeah, Nikki
school,
will be
so
able to.
she'll
She'll be
be
able to come.
right.
But like, there's still there's a little bit of
So
uncertainty
right,
there.
so there is that because the uncertainty then causes us to have to think about what does vacation look like then for us at the
Right.
end of the year. What are we doing and so on and so forth. But on the trip, there were two separate instances where I got to spend just one-on-one time with Nikki. And we just got to sit together and it was like for a long period of time where we just sat together both with our feet in the water, just not saying anything. It was just like this very comfortable silence where you're just taking everything in. We talked, we heard music together. It was just such a good time to be with her like that. And then on a separate day, I decided to go on a walk, and Mike came to go walk with me, and we ended up sitting at the opposite side of the lake on a dock, and we just talked. We talked until we literally saw the rain just approach from the mountain, just coming lower and lower until it's finally upon us, and we made it back to the cabin in time. But it was, to me, those things are the things that I treasure, that I just feel like it gives me life. And it's like when I visit my parents in the land and my sisters are there and my brothers are there and I get to see my nieces and nephew and pretty soon it'll be nephews, right? And I literally feel like the loneliness that I feel of
Did
not
she
having them
did
close.
she already share that?
Oh, I'm sure she has shared with whoever she's going to share that with. But because nobody knows who I'm talking about, it's safe. But
There's going to be some phone calls.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
But I just feel like, when you're away from your family and you're close to your family, it's very hard at times to just deal with the not being able to be together, And so to me, it's when I get to make these trips up there, sometimes these trips are just for 4 days, And you would think, man, you need weeks up there to really soak up being with everybody. And you go for 4 days, and I feel like I come back full, full of love and memories and just great times, especially with the babies and everything. So it's
Well,
one of
then,
those things that I don't know. I just feel like that those are my treasures that give me life for the new year. And
well, let's talk about the new year and
okay.
what's to come for us starting tomorrow going forward.
Oh gosh, are you talking about school?
Yeah.
Okay, so I've been in denial that school is starting. And I'm pretty sure that I have a classmate of mine who listens to the podcast as well. And she's doing a different degree than I am, but I feel like if I allow myself to think about what's coming up, I feel terrified. Terrified. Because it's 16 months of run. Just run. Okay.
And there's only two small breaks that you get
I mean, there's the
in this
Christmas
year,
break.
right? And
So
then
that's a
spring
2 week
break.
break and spring break.
Right.
And I'm thinking, listen, when we got to the cabin, I remember on the second day, I was like, oh, we still have a week here. It just feels like so long. And then all of a sudden it was Friday
Yep.
and we
And
had
were
to pack
getting
up
yeah.
and go. And I feel like we blinked and it was over. Okay. And this week, I feel like I was like, I'm just going to like just relax. I'm going to relax. And in fact, I feel like internally I've been so stressed out that I've been having like bad dreams. I haven't been sleeping good. And it's just this underlying stress of, can I go at the intensity? I think that's the biggest one. Can I go at the intensity that I had to this past summer for anatomy class? Can I maintain that intensity for 16 months?
Well, I think it's going to be a little bit different because there's more hands-on stuff. So there's going to be a different dynamic to it,
I agree.
right? Is it going to be intense? I absolutely, because that's what it is. It's an intense program. You're trying to go through something a lot quicker. But you have 16 months until you finish yours. Mike finishes in 6 months.
In July, I think, right?
Yeah, 6 or 7 months. Nikki's moving to Orlando. We're like, there's just so much that's going on all at
Yeah.
the same time so quickly that
This feels like a very
like,
packed year.
oh yes.
And so then I was thinking about, okay, so when Nikki makes the move up there, we're taking the weekend off to help her get settled in and all that stuff. And I'm just thinking, God, please don't let it be finals, weekend, because I know that I'm going to be stressed and I want to be present for her moving out. And when Michael's graduation comes, it's midweek.
Mm-hmm.
Are they allowing parents to attend? Because if they're allowing parents to attend, I know we want to be there, right? And I'm thinking, God, please don't let it be in the middle of finals again, So I feel like there's an added stress this year of like, why does this year need to be the year that's packed full of stuff? Why couldn't it be last year?
But yet you go through and you look back at every single year that we've been alive, and we always say, goodness, there was so much that was going on. There's so much that's going on. There's so much that we need to do. And we come to the end of the year and we look back and we're like, whoa, where did the year go?
Yeah, every year is the same.
But I'm looking forward to I would have to say I'm looking forward to the new adventures because things are changing.
Mm-hmm.
We're officially becoming empty nesters, essentially we are. So it's just going to be you and me in the house.
That's going to be different.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be different. And honestly, can I tell you that I feel like when you say that we are, I feel like people may not understand that, especially since Nikki still lives at home. But the amount of time that we saw her when she was in her last year of high school versus how much we see her now is like she doesn't live here anymore.
Yeah, I mean,
We don't even make dinner for her
Yeah,
because
she's working,
she
and
gets her
then
own food, she has her own friends, she has her own life, and
yeah,
it's
she's
like
doing school. She's got her, her group of friends that she does things with. She's got, a full time job. Which is perfectly fine. We're glad that it's almost like a trial run with us, still living at
that's what I was
home.
gonna say. I feel like it's taken me a whole year to get used to the fact that things are gonna change.
Right. And now that they are changing, we've already had a little bit of practice. Because Mike happened.
Yeah,
Like that
Mike
was
happened,
real fast.
but no, but I feel like also with Mike, I had sort of this preparation with him
Yeah,
as
but
well.
it happened really quick with him too.
Correct, but he was also very busy. He had his own life as well, and so in a way, I feel it's
He
just
was
so
working
weird,
overnight.
right? And so I feel like the times that I saw him was really to wake him because he needed to go to work, right? To wake him, hey, do you want food? Stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
and so I do remember that it was when he moved out. I did feel prepared for him to leave, but at the same time, just these little things that I've just gotten into the habit of doing, like going into his room because he would say, "Hey, please, can you make sure if I'm not up by whatever time, please come get me?" Because sometimes he wouldn't hear his alarm. And that act of coming into his room, that was not happening anymore, So sometimes I would open his room and say something to him, fully knowing he wasn't there, just to feel normal. So I feel like last year for me was a whole lot of everything. Trying to find myself, for example, like who am I as just me and not me, the mother? Okay. Because that's what they needed me to be. So that's what I was.
Can we
And
talk about what you found?
yes, in just a minute, okay? And also like how is it that my role has changed now from being constantly needed to they're good. If they need you, they'll let you know. I feel like nobody prepared me for, hey, when your kids leave, it hits you. As much as you don't think it's going to hit you, it does because you're stopping. It's like for a lot of people who retire, a lot of people who retire actually go through depression after they retire when they should be celebrating. But research has shown that it's because you've taken someone out of their routine. For a lot of people, you've taken away the purpose of, oh, I knew my
Right, that
place in
was their day.
society.
When they got up in the morning, they knew that they had something that they needed to do.
And now
And
it's
I've
like you
heard,
wake up.
yeah, and I've heard that it was even harder for someone who works either healthcare or firefighter, police, civil servant, like that kind of stuff, because their job had a purpose that was bigger than just I'm selling paper or I'm selling birthday supplies at a store or I'm selling groceries. Not that I'm, bringing any of that stuff down. And the stuff that I mentioned, selling birthday supplies and groceries, I'm mentioning those because that's what I did. I feel that it would be different for me retiring out of those, like almost a relief because of the level of stress. But like for someone who's been a firefighter for, 30, 35 years, and all of a sudden you're taking them out of that lifestyle, that is very, very different, or a police officer or, a healthcare worker, like that's got to be a huge shock to the system.
And I personally don't see anybody talking about that. Like you have to go specifically and seek someone to help you do that transition.
Mm-hmm.
But people, this is not, I feel, something that's widely discussed. The transition of becoming an empty nester. I actually heard something that some people are saying that when you let go of all of this, like you retire, your kids move out, sometimes even moving to a new state, right? Sometimes even as small as like switching from a career field, not switching a job, but
Mm-hmm.
if you suddenly find yourself at a loss of a job or something like that, it's all like little bits of grief that you're feeling, right? And in different ways because you don't see it as it needing the attention that grief would need. That's not the same care that you give yourself as if you had lost someone. And the new term that people are trying to insert into the grieving process is the point where you get to pivoting, right? And so after you've gone through all your stages, even if it's I guess minute grief, I don't know, it's like a on a smaller scale grief, you do have to pivot to, okay, what does my new life look like now, right? So just
Could you imagine, like, think about like the executive, like the guy who is a CEO or a CFO or a high level executive in a company that lost their job in the pandemic, could not find something else, and to make ends meet, they're driving Uber, they are doing DoorDash, they're doing, you know, and let me tell you, some of these guys are happier because they've removed themselves from such a high stress place, and they're doing very well. Because DoorDash, we were talking about that a little bit this morning, like DoorDash and Uber, and like these have been life changing ideas to the way that people, excuse me, to the way that people do things. It's changed, and it allows people to, make money on it. Like we went this morning and grabbed breakfast at Panera, and while we were there, there was maybe 5 people in the restaurant, but it was hustle and bustle of people coming in and going out, picking up delivery orders. Those were all DoorDash. And when we left,
Grubhub.
yeah, when we left Panera, we went to go stop at Publix real quick, and I saw one of the guys who walked into Panera to pick up breakfast there, picking up from
McDonald's.
McDonald's to do the same thing. So it's like, that the people that are changing over, like they find themselves in a job where there are people that look down on them and say, "Ooh, you used to be this, and now you're this." Like that
But
has to
just what
play
about
on your
the
mind.
right, but just themselves. Like this is not what my life was supposed to be.
Yep. And
So
people with degrees,
right.
like people
Not
with like full on degrees, and they're doing, these jobs because that's what is available.
right, right. But either way, I feel maybe, hopefully, I'm crossing my fingers, more prepared for Nikki moving out in knowing that I'm going to experience those emotions again, right? Where for her, it's a thing where she has me wake her up almost every day. Mikey was doing the same thing at a certain time. And so I know that for me, it's going to be, oh, she's not here anymore, you know? And I feel like knowing what I felt with Mike, I don't know, maybe it helps me accept that, yeah, I let myself feel all these things and eventually it sort of evens itself out and you just
It also
learn
it
to
also
have your
helps.
kids away from you.
It also helps that she's moving in with Mike, so we know that she's not going to a new place by
That
herself.
helps a lot.
Like there's at least, like, for me as a dad, like, okay, okay, Mike's gonna step in and he's gonna make sure that she's being taken care of.
And funny enough, I feel like I thought about my mom and how she must feel as well. That my brother, the older one of my two brothers, he sort of did that for many of our siblings, where when they were in between getting their own place, his house was like the stop, right? And several of our siblings have lived with him In fact, two of them live with him now. The two youngest ones live with him now. And my younger brother he's in the middle of getting his degree as well. So his plan is when I get my degree, yeah, I'm going to get my own place. And then my little sister, she's in the process of also moving out and getting her own place. But I know that it's been, I don't know. I lost my word that I was going to say for my mom. It's given her peace of mind to know that my little sister's not in a house by herself. She has my brother there, and even my little brother. I feel we were all talking about this, how even though he's 27, all of us older siblings still think of him as an 18-year-old, a 17-year-old. I mean, 18 is like the highest age that we give him, but he's always been like this little brother, right? And so in a way you're kind of, I know he's not defenseless, but you kind of see him like he needs protection or something.
How different it is. Hold on. How different the interaction. I'm making a statement.
Okay.
But I think the way that I'm starting it sounds like a question.
Yes. Sometimes that happens.
But it's a statement. How different it is for me, the interaction that I have, like even with my sisters, compared to the interaction that you have with your brothers and sisters. Like you guys are the oldest of you're the oldest of 8. So there's like you're saying, oh, you guys all look at the little one, like, and you still think he's 18, and you're talking about your little sister who's still sitting at home and going back and forth, and like there's a different interaction. Me and my sisters, when we got married and moved out or whatever, when that happened, it was like, good luck. I don't know. It kind of feels like that's like, I hope you make it.
I wash my hands of you.
And I'm not saying from my parents. I'm saying from us as siblings to each other.
And
good luck,
And 4 of us are married, right? And it's just one of those things where I feel
1,
like
2,
we're
3, 4,
still we're still looking out for each other, And to clarify, like my little sister did have her own place, but she was living here.
Right.
And she's recently last year moved up to the Carolinas to be closer to the family and everything. She's single. She can do that. Her job allowed her to move up there and continue working from home. She's an incredible job. And so she's in the process
and your
right now.
sister, your other sister, just moved out this past week.
Right. And
or
she
this
also
week.
moved out. She moved out yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, she just moved out, but she was able to do the same thing. She went and, went up there, and she didn't stay with your brother because I don't think your brother had any more room.
No, he doesn't.
So she had to go and stay with another one of the sisters.
And that's the thing. It's like you will always have a place to stay with all of us. It's just been one of those things. So I feel like we're all always looking out for each other in some way. But right now that you just said that, you just reminded me when you said good luck, right? That's your mentality. Like, okay, you're on your own, goodbye. And it reminded me of the conversation we had last night with my little brother because we were playing Halo together. And he says that to this day, he remembers how you told him, good luck, and you let him be. And so I'll end this podcast with the story.
With this story.
Okay.
Okay. A pre-warning.
Isn't it a preface?
A preface to this story. This ended last night in wheezing.
Yes, which they are familiar with.
Yes. I'm not sure if she will be able to keep it together. So.
Listen, right now. I'm sorry, so sorry. Have you ever yawned and you get like a air stuck in your rib cage? That's very painful. Anyway, that's what happened to me earlier today. I still feel it. But so it hurts to laugh is what I'm trying to say. But so many years ago when we first got into cruising, we did our first cruise. We loved it so much. And we told my family, hey, if anybody wants to join us on our next cruise, come along. My parents came, some of my sisters came, and my little brother came. And at this point, I want to say that he was 14, 15 years old. I want to say that's where he was, maybe 16. But I think he was more
I think he
like
was younger.
15. No. I don't think he was younger than that. We'll ask him. We'll find out. But we decide we're going. I want to say that it was in Roatan that we went to do scuba. It wasn't in Mexico. I know we did snorkeling.
I'm pretty sure that was Mexico.
Okay, because remember it was the place with the black sand in the beach. And I feel like
That was
that was
St. Thomas.
Roatan.
But St. Thomas didn't have this. Okay, so where this happened was where we would come down there was one side of the wall. We'd come down, and then the current would push you over to the next.
Yes, I know. I'm telling that story.
So that was Mexico.
Maybe. Either way, somewhere in the Caribbean, we went to a destination and we did a trip for us to go snorkeling. We said, who wants to go snorkeling, right? You convinced me it's completely safe. You're wearing a life vest. It'll be fine. Mike is a natural swimmer. Nikki didn't know how to swim. She still doesn't know how to swim. I still don't know how to swim. Somehow, against my own better judgment, in hindsight now, right? I'm thinking, I think that it's a good idea because sure, I can do it, okay? I'm going to go snorkeling with you, my dad, my little brother Ben, our 2 kids, and you. And then now, no, that was in Mexico. And she was not with us that time. She went the next time because that's the time when she fell in the pool and her phone fell in the pool. That was a completely different time. That was a roach incident we'll talk about another day. Okay?
A what incident?
A roach incident.
What's a roach incident?
Oh gosh, she when she put on the
got
snorkel
it.
thing, there was a roach in the tube, and it was.
No, you said it's a roach incident.
That's what I said.
It's not. No, you would have to say the roach incident.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. Whoa, we're getting too technical. Anyway, so now in hindsight, I think about the fact that if any one of us had been in danger of drowning, how are you supposed to save all 3 of us? My dad is a really great swimmer. So my dad was there, and I was, I think back then I reasoned, I'll just hold on to the life vest. Someone will rescue me. At least you can grab one of the kids. My dad can grab one of the kids. And there's Ben. Ben said he's good. We're all good to go. I'll just have to rely on someone else rescuing me. For some reason, I was not afraid. When we go there, they said, you're going to climb down this ladder.
I'm not getting any credit.
What are you talking about? You can't save 2 people at once.
No. The reason that you were feeling safe was because I literally stayed with you.
And
the entire
Of
time.
course.
I
I'm
was
saying
your life
if
vest.
one of our children needed you, I was going to say, save the children.
Okay, go.
That's what I meant. So they said, okay, so you're going to put on your flippers, right? And you're going to go, just when you get into the water, don't fight it. Just put your head into the water and start looking at everything underneath the water, because the current itself will lead you to the beach. You don't have to fight it. You don't have to swim. You just enjoy the view. And you could really tell there was a strong current. I don't know how they made it work that way, that current would lead you, because it was open water.
They made it work that way? It's the ocean.
You're telling me that the ocean did that?
Yes, of course.
But how can they advertise the current will take you there? The currents don't move the same way every time.
Currents go either one way or they go the other.
They don't shift. Like today they're here, tomorrow they're over there.
Yeah, and sometimes there's no current.
So then they would have to say, hey, you have to swim.
Of course, and that's why they give you the life vest.
You're kidding me. You're kidding me.
Oh, God.
Oh, wow. I thought that they had somehow manipulated the current
They
to go.
manipulated the current.
There could be. a motor or
The
something.
ocean. They manipulated the
Okay.
ocean.
Continuing with my story. So then the kids go, my dad goes in the water. The kids go in the water. I go in the water. Mind you, how did you walk with the flippers down the steps, which was like a pool ladder? Okay. I just remember them saying, use your heels to go down there. I was terrified. Okay. I'm in the water. Sure enough, the current's taking us. The kids, they are not scared. They're having the best time. They're looking at the fish. I remember briefly sticking my head in the water, seeing that it really was very clear and there was tons of fish and it looked amazing. But I just felt anxiety over the currents moving. Can you swim against the current if somebody's drowning? I'm looking around. Okay, there's Mike. There's Nick. There you are. Where's Ben? Okay. And I said, hey, where's Ben? And you look around and you're like, Ben's with your dad. And I look at my dad. My dad's swimming out into the ocean. He's swimming exactly where you're not supposed to be going because he wants
Because it's your dad.
because it's my dad. And he doesn't like to be kept in like a cookie cutter box setting. He likes to be free and explore. And I see my dad all the way over there. And then I'm looking around. I'm freaking out because I'm thinking, oh my God, if I go back and I tell my mom that Ben drowned and we didn't even see him drown, like, God forbid, right? And I look, and the current is not stopping for us. We are just being pushed. I look over by the part where people are getting into the water. Though it was kind of there was a lot of waves that day, remember? And they were crashing into some rocks that were right on that area. And there I see gripping onto the rocks is Ben.
Say it like you say it, though.
Well, he looks like I thought I saw the Little Mermaid in that scene where the waves are crashing and the waves come back and I'm like, Ben? And I'm like, impossible. He is covered in water all over again. Can we talk about those rocks are like lava rocks? They were some black mossy things you can't even step on.
Yep, you can't step
would
on them. You
cut
can't
yourself.
grab them.
Oh, was it coral? Was
No.
he holding on to the coral?
No, it was regular rock, but there were sea urchins that were down at the bottom.
Oh my God. I yelled, listen, I'm not even laughing anymore because I'm like at the gravity of all of it. Last night when I told my brother the story, I couldn't stop laughing. You talked about the wheezing, okay? But to see him out there, I think him talking back to me is what made me laugh, was because he was like, wow, because of what he said next.
Oh, and then, yeah.
Okay, because I am like, babe, Ben is drowning. And my dad, like a shark, he's on it. You never even had to leave. My dad's like swimming.
Leave. I'm still dealing with trying to get you guys up.
Correct.
Up on the ladders and out of the water.
The current is like shifting. It's like going around a corner. And I just feel like I'm just being like dragged away. And it's like he's disappearing from me. So I can't see the dramatic rescue. My dad later said that he kept telling him jump into the water and I'll catch you. I'll help you get out of, because he was just like in a washer machine there. Ben was like glued to that rock. Like there's no way I'm letting go. But then last night he said,
Here it comes. Where's Peter? You owe me $75.
oh my God, he said he will never forget how after you were like, Ben, you okay? What happened to you? And he's like, I don't want to talk about it. You're like, Ben, don't forget you have to send me the $70. Ben is like, I almost had to pay for my own drowning.
if you don't listen, if you don't get it under control, you're gonna pee yourselves.
Oh my god. Oh my god. I forgot. I blocked that out. I do remember that conversation happening. The poor kid wanted a refund. Because
Listen,
never got to snorkel.
he did get to snorkel. What are you talking
No,
about?
he did not. What are you talking about? He
Listen.
snorkeled his way to a rock.
I know. And then from the rock to the dock.
No, he climbed the stairs.
No.
Yes, he would not. My dad said
There
he
was
would not.
hold on. There was only one way out.
I don't think so, man.
Yes.
Here's the thing I'm
Listen,
surprised
there
about.
was only-
Nobody else helped him.
Listen. There was only one way out.
Are you sure?
Yes, you got in on one side and you got out on the other.
Poor Ben.
He
Oh my gosh, such a sad story.
he took a different route than everyone else,
Wow.
but he got from one end to the other.
Poor thing. To this day, and it has been so many years. To this day, that scene in Little Mermaid when she's like singing her song and the waves are crashing. Oh my god. Poor thing. Never been snorkeling since.
I would venture to say I don't think he's been in the water since.
Poor thing.
Poor Ben.
Poor Ben.
Poor little Benny
we
Bunny.
Love you, Ben.
Poor little Benny Bunny.
Oh my god. Anyway.
Anyways.
That's the end of my story. We started it and ended it with laughter.
With wheezing.
Stop.
No,
I said with laughter.
With wheezing.
Let's toast that this is what the rest of the year looks like.
To a wheezing good time
There we go.
in 2022.
There we go.
Join us next week for some more stories where I'm sure Katmia will wheeze again at
The
some
mattress
point.
guy.
Oh my goodness, the mattress guy.
Yes.
All right, we're putting you on the hook for next week. Come back, listen to the story about the mattress guy. It's hilarious. She's already wheezing over here.
Poor guy, okay.
Yes. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us this week. We hope that we see you next week. And you guys have a great day.
Bye.
Bye.